Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time on a Tuesday night. Getting spicy down to the wire between Tennessee and Texas A&M. We'll keep an eye on that for you as we get ready to have a discussion about A.J. Brown. Right now, the Vols have got the game back within one. Texas A&M at the free throw line at this point. 62-61 A&M's lead at home with 46.6 left to play. Tonight, we're going to talk about A.J. Brown's appearance on the Raw Room. It was a situation where you knew the details were eventually going to come out. It was just a matter of how this story gets told. So new details on that you'll hear, which I'm sure are going to bother you. We'll talk about quarterbacks in limbo right now and the best or biggest quarterback dominoes that need to fall. We'll do a gone viral video that is thoroughly ridiculous and you will enjoy at the end of the show today, and all the while keeping an eye on A&M and Tennessee down to the final minute, less than a minute at this point. 64-61 is A&M's lead after two made free throws. So with that being said, share this show on Facebook. Share now to public in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. On Twitter, please retweet it in the bottom right. If you're on YouTube or Twitch, please subscribe to the channel. Throw a like on the video if you haven't done so already. Tell a friend to do the same, and we would be grateful for you that way. D-Lo says, so Titans fans that swore AJ wanted out was totally wrong. They definitely did, from D-Lo on YouTube. Yes, well, it seems, according to A.J. Brown, or to hear him tell it, he was very much intending to stay in Tennessee. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time from the Superbook Sports Studios. I'm your host, Buck Rising. I'm proud, as always, to be presented to you by our friends at the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. GaryAshton.com, your dream address without the stress. The intel edge you need to succeed can be found courtesy of the Ashton team. Superbook Sports, download the Superbook app today. Wager on college hoops, the NHL, and everything in between. Your first bet matched up to $1,000 win or lose at superbook.com. TrueMav Fitness, a new way to work out, a better way to work out for you to get your fitness goals achieved. Go to TrueMavFitness.com for your first workout free as a Middle Tennessee resident. And Two Rivers Ford. Two Rivers Ford, the best in the business. They always sell all non-specialty new Ford vehicles below MSRP at Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. 64-61, it continues to be the score, 30.6 on the clock between Texas A&M and Tennessee right now. For those of you watching at home, we're keeping an eye on both things with you tonight. But A.J. Brown, of course, the details of the trade being a big point of contention, right? Two sides of the story between what the Titans were pushing and what A.J. Brown ultimately felt was going on his end. That's what he had the opportunity to talk about on Darren Bates' podcast, The Raw Room. It's the latest episode. AJ is the featured guest this week, and he was asked specifically for the receipts that he had from his time in Tennessee. We're going to start with your Two Rivers Ford take on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch. It's a terrible look for the former general manager, John Robinson, who, of course, is not currently in football at present after being fired mid-season this year. Your Two Rivers Ford take, fair or foul? A.J. Brown's side of the story on the Titans trading him away. We'll talk about it together right after I remind you that your Two Rivers Ford take is presented by Two Rivers Ford. Go to tworiversford.com for all new non-specialty Ford vehicles, always sold below MSRP. Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. So fair or foul? A.J. Brown's side of the story. This is A.J. in his own words on the Raw Room, courtesy of Darren Bates and Jalen Collins.
He get on the phone, he give me the numbers. He like, bro, what you want to do? And I was like, bro, I want to be in Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, AJ, like Tennessee not moving. Like they not even budging. Like you told me to do a job. Like I did the job. It's in front of you. Like you'd be a fool not to take this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, shit, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah.
So immediately get off the phone, I'm crying my eyes out.
Man.
I'm crying my
Yeah,
eyes.
that's what I just talked about. It's two different feelings.
Man, it's
Oh,
tough. I'm crying my eyes out, bro. Cause I'm like, I'm hurt.
yeah.
I'm hurt. And then it's just a part of like what I just accomplished ain't even like set in.
Yeah.
So I'm more hurt than anything.
So that was AJ Brown describing the interaction between his representation and him during the contract negotiations with AJ's side of thing and the Titans. And ultimately, it sounds like John Robinson had reached a point in his negotiations where he wasn't willing to budge. The representation brought that back to AJ and told him, hey, there's a deal in Philadelphia to make you whole at the rate where you feel you need to be paid. And this is the kind of thing that you would be a fool to turn down. Fair or foul, AJ Brown's side of the story. The Primetime Show is presented by the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. GaryAshton.com is where you go for the intel edge you need to succeed. Go to GaryAshton.com to get that intel that'll help you sell your home without any stagings or showings, help you find your next one while you sell your current one in the red-hot Nashville real estate market, help you win the buyer battle and cash in on your home equity right now. GaryAshton.com for more information to trust the team that your favorite teams trust. Go to GaryAshton.com. So, there's a lot of this stuff that comes out after the fact, and we're almost a full year removed from AJ getting traded from the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Jeff says, can someone translate that gibberish? I don't think it's very clear what was laid out, Jeff, but we'll play the clip for you again. Then if I have to hold your hand and walk you through it, I suppose we can do that. Don't know if there's some coding there that's problematic, but, just try and pay attention this time.
He get on the phone, he give me the numbers. He like, bro, what you want to do? And I was like, bro, I want to be in Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, AJ.
So let me break in, since you're making me translate in ways that are ridiculous. He's on the phone with his agent. The agent gives him the numbers. He asks what he thinks, and AJ responds. Now back to the clip.
He get on the phone, he give me the numbers. He like, bro, what you want to do? And I was like, bro, I want to be in Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, AJ. Like, Tennessee not moving. Like, they not even budging. Like you told me to do a job. Like, I did the job. It's in front of you. Like, you'll be a fool not to take this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, shit, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah.
So immediately get off the phone, I'm crying my eyes out.
Man.
I'm crying my eyes.
Yeah, that's what I just talked about. It's two different feelings.
Man, it's tough. I'm crying my eyes out, bro. Because I'm like, I'm hurt.
Yeah.
I'm hurt. And then it's just a part of like, what I just accomplished ain't even like set in.
Yeah.
So I'm more hurt than anything.
Again, AJ Brown's representation tells him you'd be a fool not to take the Eagles deal. AJ says, bleep it, let's go. Takes the Eagles deal, right? Opts for the trade, hits the nuclear codes. So that's where we're at this point. Now, again, I think that given the context of the situation and knowing the parties, that would be a fairly reasonable thing to understand what AJ Brown ultimately did. And so now for AJ, I think, the situation becomes, okay, how far was his hand actually forced? Now, John Robinson's situation, there was a story that was much different coming out of the Titans side of things at the time. And that, they were placing the onus on AJ and on the representation for basically bringing this thing to a screeching halt. Now, the actual truth is probably somewhere in the middle. But I do think fair or foul, AJ's side of things, I think it's completely fair. It's the way that things went down. And if John Robinson wasn't willing to budge for his most important player on offense, well, such is life, I guess, at this point. And the legacy of several people here with the Titans organization gets changed for the foreseeable future. Looks like a interesting situation on the inbounds play for Tennessee. UT looked like they had the chance to get the ball back on the inbounds play. Keeping an eye on this Texas A&M Tennessee game for you right now that is in the final seconds of them trying to figure out. I don't know what the call on the court is. It looks like A&M's about to get the ball back and inbounds it again. 64-63, 22 seconds to play. So, looking at the AJ situation, it's completely fair. Now, how close to the actual truth it is? Oh, what a block to be able to make that play. Good God, this is unbelievably messy at the end of this game with the Vols and A&M. I think Tennessee might get that ball back. Okay, he's going to the line. The A&M kid's going to the line. Anyway, we'll keep you updated. This is a very, very down to the wire basketball game. And it's honestly good because otherwise we would have to watch Indiana play Michigan State right now, which is up next on ESPN. And I don't think I want to watch that with you guys because you would see me in a very fragile emotional state. And I'm not prepared to share that vulnerability with you yet. Either way, Nardo says AJ brought up text between him and Vrabel. Oh, God. I think that is that's a dangerous game. Now, it's different if Vrabel brings up the text messages. So I think that there is a bit of a third rail that you don't want to violate there. But I do think that the AJ Brown situation is there's a lot of good info for you to glean from the Raw Room podcast. We don't need to get into all of it now. Quarterback dominoes that are getting ready to fall, though, is what Ryan Tannehill is caught up in the middle of. And the question becomes on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch in the comments section, what's the most interesting quarterback storyline this offseason? There's a bunch of ones to pick from. You can choose things like Jalen Hurts and what the Eagles end up doing with him and his contract extension. That was something that A.J. Brown also talked about on the Raw Room this week. You can look at Joe Burrow and a possible extension there. Lamar Jackson, what's going on in Baltimore. Tennessee with Ryan Tannehill kind of waiting in the wings, and Aaron Rodgers in his darkness retreat. Derek Carr making visits to everybody under the sun. At this point, looks like A&M is going to hang on to win this game 66-63, 3.1 to play, and the opportunity to inbounds the ball. No, a timeout taken, it looks like. At this point, I can't tell if it's by A&M or Tennessee, but we'll keep you updated with the final. So what's the most interesting quarterback storyline? We'll talk about it together right after I remind you that the Primetime Show is presented by Superbook Sports. Download the Superbook app today. Get in on all the action, whether you bet the Vols or A&M tonight, whether you're in on the Indiana-Michigan State game, Iowa State and Texas. A lot of great college basketball for you to wager on, and the tournament just around the corner at Superbook Sports. Download the app today. They'll match your first bet up to $1,000, win or lose, and they've got the best odds boosts and promo bets available for you. Superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789. So, what's the most interesting quarterback storyline this season? Let's see. Is he, Karen says, is he still on his darkness retreat? As far as I know, he's still on it. Let's see. Canadian Titans fan says Lamar is the most interesting one. Let's see. Aaron Rodgers is what Justin nominates on YouTube. Let's see if the Titans, okay, David Brown is still arguing about the AJ thing, but we've moved on at this point. D'Lo says Hurts right now. The Fire Zard is just out here spitting takes. Cut Tannehill and get a top round quarterback. Well, okay, that's an answer to that's not a storyline necessarily, although it very well could become one. Who's to say? We will have to find out, although they would have to draft the quarterback before they cut Tannehill, because if they didn't do that, well, I guess there's a couple of different ways that they could go about it. It's not a clean fix like the way that you were describing, but either way, Lamar Jackson's is the most interesting quarterback situation this year, the last couple of months, and certainly this offseason.
You blame the Ravens for not giving Lamar a fully guaranteed contract.
No, I do not. I do not blame them. But I want to state this for the record, Swagoo. There is no excuse for the Baltimore Ravens, knowing that a Deshaun Watson has $230 million guaranteed, that a Kyler Murray has $189 million guaranteed, that a Russell Wilson has $165 million guaranteed. There is no excuse for the Baltimore Ravens to offer Lamar Jackson $133 million in guaranteed dollars.
Jesus.
That is criminal. They have no business doing that. That's incredibly insulting, and I don't blame him for feeling insulted. However, I would not give him a fully guaranteed deal either. He's missed the last 5 games of the last 2 seasons. All right, the best ability is availability, but also reliability. He misses on those 2 categories, availability and reliability. That in and of itself compromises the ability for you to walk around with your chest stuck out talking about you deserve fully guaranteed dollars. That's for the Iron Men in the National Football League. Not that anyone really exists. We understand that. But for the most part, somebody that you can rely upon to be there when it counts. Not one, but the last 2 seasons, Swagoo. He's missed the last 5 games of the regular season and obviously playoff competition. You can't do that and expect a fully guaranteed deal. What I would tell you is that the brother is 45-16 as a starting quarterback in the National Football League. He's the greatest runner from the quarterback position the game of football has ever seen in its history. He is electrifying, he is mercurial, and he wins football games at least during the regular season, although he only has 1 playoff victory in 4 tries. At the end of the day, I believe, Swagoo, that warrants $200 million in guaranteed money in today's NFL economy. If you want to offer him 250, 300, 350 million, but 200 million is guaranteed, I think that's fair. All right, that he gets more guaranteed dollars than a Kyler Murray or even a Russell Wilson at this particular moment in time. They shouldn't be foolhardy and give him $230 million just because the Cleveland Browns desperately went about the business of giving that to Deshaun Watson. But $200 million in guaranteed dollars is not off kilter considering what the other quarterbacks in the National Football League are getting. That is more than fair, okay? That is respectful. And I get that. The $133 million guaranteed, that's a damn insult in today's NFL economy for a quarterback of his stature. But that doesn't mean it should be fully guaranteed. $200 million guaranteed should be a fair and equitable target for both sides.
The details on the Ravens offer are disgusting. $133 million guaranteed for Lamar when you look at the other quarterbacks that Stephen A. just listed. It is an insult. It is blasphemous. I don't need to restate any kind of words that Stephen A. just used, but you understand, like, he is an MVP caliber quarterback. He is the most, I struggle to call him the most accomplished quarterback that's next to get paid, because Burrow, I think, deserves a place in that conversation with what he has obviously become and obviously having reached a Super Bowl so far, even if he's not been an MVP of the league like Lamar has. Burrow has more playoff success at this point. But I do think that Lamar's contract situation is fascinating. He's been, articulating his frustrations on social media about particularly his Instagram story, where he's, very aware of the fact that he is being undervalued and having, limited opportunities or limited ways that he can get his message out because he doesn't have representation. And, feels that this was the better way to go about these things. Now, I can't speak for somebody who's negotiating over the amount of money that Lamar Jackson is. And 1% of a Lamar Jackson contract, or 1.5%, 2%, whatever an agent would make on that. Industry standard used to be 3%. I know that's gone down since the money's gone up in crazy ways. But, like, for example, Lamar Jackson wants a fully guaranteed contract, and you don't have to give him that, but you have to exceed the guaranteed money that Deshaun Watson is getting at bare minimum. Now, that's a mistake that the Browns made, but it's a sin that everybody else has to live with. This is the quarterback market right now, and Ravens have to be willing to adjust if they want to keep him. And if not, somebody else will take him. All right, let's wrap things up with a gone viral video on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Is where you can interact with these. So we have 2 options on the table here. And I don't know how to feel about either of them necessarily. But I guess the question that I should ask you is this: what's the best Super Bowl commercial that you saw this year? Let me know if there are any memorable ones. It's been a couple of weeks at this point since the Super Bowl went down. but do you have a favorite Super Bowl commercial that you remember? Because there are some that don't make it to air that are typically far better than what actually gets on the screen for $7 million a spot. We'll talk about it together right after I remind you that the Primetime Show is presented by True Math Fitness in the Gulch. Go to True Math Fitness to get your workout journey started. 6 a.m. Thursday, that's the next class I'm going to be at. I hope to see you there as well. And we can accomplish our goals together. They have helped me lose 52 pounds as a part of my weight loss goals. And they have helped me figure out how to make myself stronger, in better physical condition, better stamina, all the things that I'm looking to achieve to try and maintain a healthy lifestyle. True Math Fitness has group classes, personal training, or an open gym for you to get involved. So to sign up for any of their membership levels today, to take one of their classes, or to get your first workout free, go to truemathfitness.com as a Middle Tennessee resident. All right. What's the best Super Bowl commercial you saw? Ken Kaniff says the What's Up commercial got to be the best one ever. The Grease one with John Travolta, says Justin. Titan the Tiger says Ben and J-Lo. That was funny. Stacy Wills says the Amazon commercial with the dog. It's kind of jacked up because I don't remember a single one of it. I remember John Travolta being in a commercial with the two dudes from Scrubs. But like I don't remember what it was for. I think the commercials have fallen off considerably in the last couple of years. But the ones that don't make it to air sometimes are the funniest.
What's the biggest thing you've ever made?
The biggest thing I've ever made? Probably D's Nuts.
When Jimmy told me about D's Nuts, I knew it was going to be huge.
When Jimmy first told me about D's Nuts, I thought he was crazy.
I love D's Nuts.
Same.
I keep a pair on me at all times.
D's Nuts taste so good.
It's like this amazing peanut butter chocolate flavor.
Nut tap.
That's good nuts.
You have to try these nuts. Go to Feastables.com right now if you want some nuts in your mouth.
So yeah, a little heavy-handed with the D's Nuts jokes, but honestly, there wasn't a ton. I didn't see. Did I miss the Clydesdales Budweiser commercial this year? I did not see a Clydesdales Budweiser commercial. But yeah, it was a tough year for Super Bowl commercials. The ones that don't make it to air, maybe every once in a while they're pretty good. The D's Nuts one, like I said, a little tough. But there was apparently another one that only aired in certain markets that caught a bunch of flack. Every once in a while, somebody will just miss the mark horribly, like the Apple Watch commercials that are basically saying if you don't have an Apple Watch, you're going to die alone in the woods, or things like that. For those of you who have seen these things, I can't remember what the product was that was advertising only in certain markets that caught a bit of heat for the, I guess, harshness of their commercials. But every once in a while, you just have one that's a flop, a Super Bowl with commercials that are a flop, and it was kind of disappointing because that seemed to be the case this year. All right, it's going to do it for us tonight on this Tuesday evening. Radio show tomorrow, going to be a really, really informative one and an insightful one, I think. Nick Kelly from the Tuscaloosa News, the situation with Alabama basketball has become more and more serious based on the reporting. And I think the information there is necessary for you guys to hear. Mike Wilson will also talk about the loss that the Vols just took to Texas A&M, where they kind of stand right now as they struggle. They've now lost 5 of their last 7 games. They're in a difficult spot. One of those wins being over the number 1 team in the country, Alabama Crimson Tide. But since then, it has been a struggle for them. We'll do all that on the radio show, 10 a.m. on 104.5 The Zone. And if I don't see you there, I will talk to you tomorrow night on Primetime.
Are you surprised to hear that?
Certainly not. The first year we took it to the limit. And I was in Miami with my new beach house. Well, it was a couple minutes from the beach.
It's been 20 years since then. We haven't been too strong in the last few years.
Oh, we've been strong. We're just playing by the rules. You can't have a newcomer come in and steal the show.